With the release date of Aetherdrift only 45 days away, and the fact many players consider this to be a cross between Cannonball Run the movie, maybe a little bit of pod racing from Star Wars Episode 1, there's a lot of polarization about exactly what this set's supposed to be. But that doesn't mean that this set release couldn't end up being the king of Commander. And in today's video, we're going to discuss exactly what that could spell out for players. Right now, Aetherdrift looks like the runt of the litter. It's facing off against Remastered Innistrad in January, and then in April, it's got Tarkir Dragonstorm. So what does this set have to offer that players are going to want to buy? Right now, it looks like a pod racing video game wannabe, and most people don't think that looks very good. But there's anything we've learned from sets like Foundations, sets may not look like a lot at first, but they offer a lot when you actually see them. Welcome back, everyone. MTG Moxman here. Thank you again for hanging out with me on my channel today. Now, when we're taking a look at Aetherdrift, I can be the first one to tell you guys I'm not a fan of the idea. I'm an older school player. I like a lot of fantasy stuff that relates to dragons and wizards, but that doesn't mean that other people aren't looking forward to it. And that doesn't mean that it's not going to become something else after we start seeing a lot of the spoilers start to appear. Because right now, a lot of conjecture, a lot of guessing, and a lot of players not a fan of what they see. Now, there are results to that. There are prices to be paid, which means the sales are next to nil on the pre-orders, okay? They're next to nothing. And that, again, doesn't play well into what this set's going to be. But like we just told you a few seconds ago, Foundations has taught us a lot. Wizards of the Coast, now that they're in control of Commander, they can push all the buttons and all the levers into how they want things to look. They can power up certain sets and factor in Commander as a play group. They can depower things and not factor it in and say, I don't really need anything this time around. They can make a certain tribal subset look really appetizing to almost make you want to buy it and accept the reality that Wizards of the Coast is changing, and a lot of us are going to have to change along with it. It's an easy way of looking at it, isn't it? Now, there's a lot of market noise right now that will tell you Aether Drift. It's only got a 30 booster pack box now. Yeah, but the price is lower. It's a brain tease, but it plays in well with what a lot of players are looking for, and a lot of players are accepting the new price point. If not yet, they will soon. Okay? I understand the 30 packs is going to be hard for people, but as subsequent sets go on, whether they go to 36 or 30, it'll all depend on where they jack up the prices and just tick players off. So let's jump back here. Let's talk about what could happen with Commander. Now, it's still a lot of tinfoil hat, but when I've looked around at the vehicle decks that are available, the vehicle created Commander decks we have being played right now, and the fact that they only put out 2 Commander decks for players to buy right now, and I have an image for you right here of those. Let's pop up here because these are pretty reasonable, to be honest, here in Canada. Let's take a look. The Aether Drift Commander deck, set of 2, is $104 Canadian, okay? So you're looking at around, I don't know, 40 bucks US? I mean, as a starter Commander deck, that's pretty cool. Now, you'll notice on the front here that they don't show any vehicles in the sense of like a vehicle commander, okay? Now, of course, we know there's going to be some, because that would make sense that they offer that to players as a way of expanding their Commander experience. And when you want to get new players involved in playing Commander, and you want to build out, you're going to start in Standard, since it's the main set. You can't do it overtly and just say, this is the way it is, but you can add a few cards here and there that as players branch into it, they can look to these other sets, core standard sets that will be in print for years, and allow players to draw cards from there, draw singles, which of course continues the value span of the actual lifespan of the product. If players are buying the singles, there might be more packs opened. And those players building those decks may modify Commander decks, which of course continuation of the sale of the starter Commander decks to be modified into something bigger and better. And then the advanced players into the premium products buying the high-end stuff because they have some really tricked out commander decks and they want to expand on them. This is nothing new as a theme. Wizards has done this for years and they will continue to do so because this pricing model works for the company on a multi-tiered level. And in a way, it passively supports your LGS because all these single cards become valuable. It's a win-win pretty much across the board. And the overall player state isn't going to mind if this continues. These cards, when you buy a starter commander deck, are not expensive. Individual packs, yeah, they're not as cheap as they used to be, but they're still affordable enough to get you in there and get you buying the packs to have an experience. And when you buy a commander deck for 40 bucks, that's like buying a board game. It's going to last you years. Even if you didn't modify it, you can play with your play groups and have a good time. It's kind of a win-win. Now, when we take a look though at what commander can do, when you want to expand on a tribal theme and you want to bring in, like, I would like to see thralls, not going to happen, but I'd like to see it right now. Minotaurs, love to see that, to see what would happen with didgeridoo from the reserve list, but it's not going to happen right now. There's no focus on that. But Wizards did bring vehicles around in Kamigawa, right? Remember Neon Dynasty, all those futuristic mecha and all those cool robots and all the vehicles they brought around. And yeah, I know in this set we got the Akira motorbike wannabe Tron cycle, but the idea is expand and broaden the player base by introducing themes and motifs that a lot of players recognize and may want to jump into as a game to expand the player base. So that means they may have new vehicle commanders or a new way of expanding into vehicles. And when you look at some of the top commanders they have right now for vehicles, which I'm going to share with you, most of these are very inexpensive commanders that allow players to get in. So take a look. I'm going to show you the first one here. So here's Qatari, the Pilot Prodigy. It's a 40-cent card. Look how inexpensive that will be for a player to afford to build with. It's going to cost nothing. And again, it's from Commander. You're looking at the Neon Dynasty deck, modifying these things, buying individual cards. It's just not an expensive endeavor for players to jump into. Now, of course, if we jump over to, of course, another pilot like DePaula, the Pilot Exemplar, this one goes a little bit further because you can see here all dwarves get +1/+1. And then, of course, it does the other thing, right, with vehicles. But the idea that this is now a twin commander card or twin usage card, because eventually we might get more dwarves in tribal. Torbrand can't be the only guy to help us lead the dwarves into greatness, so they could expand on these themes, expand on these cards, which adds value to the cards, okay? This guy's back from Kaladesh, but look what it could do, and look at that Kaladesh experience and how much players liked it. The futuristic stuff from Kamigawa they liked. So although some players might be butting heads on the idea of the futuristic tone of the vehicles, I can see how it's still going to get a lot of gameplay if they give us powerful cards. Players just can't ignore that. Now, here jumping over to Greasefang, again, Neon Dynasty, extended art version, 70-cent card, okay? And he's brutal because he's going to let you go back into your graveyard. He's going to let you get cool vehicles and attack people. If you let some giant vehicle go to the graveyard and you have a way of autopiloting that guy and hasting it right away, whatever it's going to be, there's so many concepts and designs and ideas commander players think of that is not much of a stopping point. And if they give us really big vehicles, well, you can see where this kind of card and this kind of commander could be expanded upon. And the last one, of course, the Genesis engine. Now, again, this one actually is like the, what do you call it? Like the vehicle as a commander. They're going to expand on this. It's $1.26. It's very cheap, but they need more commanders like this to expand that theme. And this would be the perfect set to expand on that idea, right? They're giving us the Aether Spark. In case you guys haven't seen this storyline, the Aether Spark is like an artifact that can give you the powers of a planeswalker. It makes you into a planeswalker. Used to be like some epic artifact that they kept hidden, but now because of the on paths, it's kind of like a regular, it's a high-end prize. Like, oh, it's amazing. You can become a planeswalker with this. I actually don't really like the concept and idea, but it's there, and the Aether Spark will be there as well. Who knows what that's going to do for either artifact vehicles or engines or what. It'll probably be some kind of equipment that attaches to a card and gives these following abilities to a planeswalker. Interesting. Almost like a piece of equipment, what do you call it? Equipment, artifact, planeswalker activation card. Whatever you want to call it, it's going to be there, and it's going to get the attention of some players. Most players are going to be thinking about the race idea, the storyline as being goofy. Okay, Mickey Mouse stuff. I'm not going to take that away from players because I kind of follow that same line of logic. But I can understand where the game is going. I can look ahead to see where the value is going to be in understanding that you have to look beyond just the concept of how the artwork looks or a goofy storyline. Look at the card mechanics. Look at what Wizards of the Coast is trying to do as a company, and you can stay ahead of the curve. You can look at it and say, pretty awesome. I like that idea because I can build a new commander deck in a whole new way because they've expanded into a tribal area that they haven't done before, right? There's only a few vehicle decks out there. By expanding into this set, they're probably going to allow for 7 or 8 more. And then when they go to another world with another experience in another way, they can allow that to expand out 7 or 8 more. It expands their market base. It allows players to create new decks and expand on what they already own. These are all good signs for the company. They're good signs for players to have a whole big array of cards available to them to be able to experiment, explore, and play the game. So I got to be honest, although I don't like Aether Spark as the idea, Aetherdrift as the idea of a set, I know there are going to be cards that are in there that are going to be awesome for players in Commander and Standard and what we're going to see going forward. So be prepared for it. Don't be as negative as I'm being. Be a little bit of a, hey, let's see how it goes, because you're bound to find a few cards that are going to interest you. And you may even find a whole new theme to follow when you play the game. It doesn't mean I'm buying boxes, doesn't mean I'm getting on board. But with Commander being the king of the field, this set could offer a lot of cards for Commander players that we really shouldn't ignore right now. Should you be picking up a few maybe random kind of vehicle cards? Most players already are, just in case. And, maybe you should too. Thanks again for hanging out. Thanks for being here on my channel today. A reminder, if you enjoyed today's content, don't forget, guys, like and subscribe to my channel. Turn on that notification bell. I do put out new content every single day. And thanks again for stopping by. I hope you guys have a great day playing some Magic. This is a New Year's Eve video, so Happy New Year's to everyone. All the best for the new upcoming year. Let's hope that we got some great stuff coming down the pipeline. I'm sure we do. It's going to be fun, and I'll see you guys soon. Have a great one. Hey, guys, a big shout out and thank you, because I got awesome patrons, and the patrons on this channel support the daily uploaded content that gets put up for YouTube every single day. Whether you're a patron or a YouTube membership member, you are one of the building blocks that allows this channel to continue to press forward. So thanks again to everyone supporting the channel. I will see you guys tomorrow with another video, and Happy New Year's, everyone. You made it to the end, the ramble jamble section. Few things to take note of. Aether Drift. It's just a dumb idea. Okay? I want to get that out there now. Before I explain myself, I want to get that out there. I don't like the idea. Okay? But imagine you're a kid growing up in the 80s, 90s, and you're thinking about Hot Wheels, Matchbox cars, maybe Jace and the Wheeled Warriors, right? Maybe you're looking at Tonka trucks. Maybe you're thinking of Akira, right? Maybe you're thinking of Tron, the original or the new movies. There's enough nostalgic grabs inside of a set like this to at least have the eyes looking at it for Magic players and for possible new players to the game without exposing yourself to all kinds of IP costs. I like the idea of that. Okay? Now, there's going to be money in that box. I know it. It bothers me to say it to you all, but I know it. I know they're going to put some powerful cards in there just to make sure things stick. And since the rules committee is no longer there, that's where the other thing is. This set was far enough out in design that they had time to alter things if they needed to from when the rules committee left. They had time. They could have altered a few cards to make sure it syncs up better with Commander, make them a little bit more powerful to draw some value into a few mythic slots, possibly. It's what I would do as a company to make sure that I'm driving some value into Commander for future, well, I guess I would say the future way of exploiting the player base. To make sure I guarantee myself some value in future reprints, you'd always make sure each standard set, every couple of sets, would have some. And this is their first chance to do it without the rules committee really being involved, right? It's just their own players, their own rules committee people that are all now internal kind of people overall. I know there's some outside people involved, but basically you got to toe the line, as it were. So I'll be curious to see where that plays out. Whether I'm right or wrong doesn't really matter to me. I just know there'll be something there. I just know it. I have that feeling. Anyway, thanks for hanging out, guys. Thanks for being here as I play with this and get ready for work and stuff. And again, Happy New Year's. Happy New Year's to everyone. Thanks again to all the supporters of the channel. I will see you guys for another video, assuming I don't sleep in for New Year's. Bye, guys.